Okay, my classroom guidance lesson is on suicide awareness, and it is directed towards 8th grade students. Some facts about suicide are it's important to know the difference of growing up and life issues such as relationships, grades, family issues, sibling issues versus the real depression and thoughts of suicide and not wanting to live. Knowing the difference of these could mean the difference between life and death. If you have a student that's just having some family issues, it's important to know the difference between just life struggles versus real depression. Untreated depression could be the cause of eating disorders, substance abuse, sleep disorders, suicidal thoughts, and even following through with suicide. Suicide is very important to educate students on because it happens every day. Many students are struggling with depression and even thinking about suicide. And also the students that do have depression, it is very, some students are very good at hiding it. So among your friend groups, it's important to look to see what friends that you have that are struggling with school, kind of withdrawn from certain things, and really trying to work with those friendships and build those people up to make sure that they're not feeling suicidal. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary issue. It is the result of a person not wanting to look at any other ways that will help. Suicide is 100% preventable. Suicidal people do not want to die, they just want their problems to end. And especially among your age, 8th grade students, some students don't necessarily know how to prevent what they're feeling and they don't know how to get help. Many students do want to get help, but they could feel embarrassed or they could feel like they are doing something wrong or getting in trouble, so they're feeling afraid to tell their parents or a teacher about their feelings and thoughts of suicide. All right, and I found some really great videos that are awesome on suicide, so we're just going to play those and watch them, and then after we're done, we'll discuss.
I have my ups and downs, just like anybody else.
Maybe more than anybody else.
I can be hard to figure out.
And I like my privacy. I don't want you looking over my shoulder all the time.
But you know your kid better than anybody else. And if you think he's acting different than usual,
Acting really down, crying all the time for no good reason.
or getting really mad, not able to sleep, or sleeping too much,
Shutting her friends out or giving her stuff away.
acting reckless, drinking, using drugs, staying out late,
Suddenly not doing stuff he used to love.
or doing stuff that's just not like him.
It might be nothing to worry about. It might just be high school.
Or it might be something more. He might be depressed.
Not just feeling down, really depressed.
It might be that your kid is thinking about killing himself. It happens. More than you think. More than it should.
And people say, I had no idea.
I thought it was just a phase he was going through.
I never thought she'd do it.
I wish he'd come to me.
I wish he'd said something.
I wish I'd said something.
When it's too late. So if you think your kid's acting different, if she seems like a different person, say something.
Say, what's wrong? How can I help?
And ask straight out. Are you thinking about killing yourself?
It doesn't hurt to ask. In fact, it helps.
When people are thinking about killing themselves, they want somebody to ask. They want somebody to care.
Maybe you're afraid you'll make it worse if you ask. Like, you'll put the idea in their head.
Believe me, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
In fact, the best way to keep a teenager from killing herself is to ask, are you thinking about killing yourself?
And what if they say yes?
Or maybe.
Or sometimes,
Well, here's what you don't say.
that's crazy.
Don't be such a drama queen.
You're making too much of this.
That boy's not worth killing yourself over. That's not going to solve anything.
You're just trying to get attention.
You're not going to kill yourself. What you do say is,
I'm sorry you're feeling so bad.
How can I help?
We'll get through this together.
Let's keep you safe.
a lot of people think about killing themselves. Adults and kids. Most of them never try it, but some of them do. So if your kid says,
I'd be better off dead. I can't live with this.
I'm gonna kill myself, Take her seriously. Find someone she can talk to about it. Someone who knows how to help.
Sometimes kids want to kill themselves because something happened. A breakup, a failure. But sometimes it goes deeper, and it's not going to go away by itself. Get some help. Talk to your doctor.
Or a counselor at school.
Or your minister.
But don't just let it drop.
And make sure that your kid always has someone to turn to. Someone he trusts. Make a list together, right then. 3, 4, 5 names.
Put the suicide hotline number on there too.
Have him keep that list in his wallet, so he always knows where to turn.
Make sure your home is safe.
If you have pills she could use to hurt herself, lock them up.
If you have a gun, don't just lock it up. Get it out of the house. The bullets, too.
And one more thing. If you think your kid might be about to hurt himself, don't leave him alone.
Take him to the emergency room.
Call 911 if you have to.
We all have our ups and downs, but sometimes it's more than that.
If you think something's wrong, the only way to find out is to ask.
Ask straight out. Are you thinking about killing yourself?
Don't wait until you're sure. Trust your gut, because it never hurts to ask.
And it can make a big difference.
All the difference.
In your kid's life.
Okay, so after that video, I would just have a quick discussion with my 8th grade students about the topic of that video was mainly geared towards a parent to watch, but the information in that video I feel is very important for friends to be aware of, like those certain things that you should say if someone is feeling suicidal to make them feel more comfortable rather than ashamed or scared to talk to you about it. So we will watch another video.
Travis was 1 year older than me. He was my big brother. We were really tight. We were like twins. People got it.
It's more than just feeling sad.
I'm tired all the time. I don't feel like doing anything.
I can't take the pressure. Just can't handle it.
I'm so angry, I want to hit something.
Nobody likes me.
What does it matter anyway?
Depression is more than feeling down every once in a while. Depression is feeling sad or helpless for weeks.
It's losing interest in things that used to make you happy. It affects people of all ages. You may have had depression or know someone that has. Lots of things can cause teen depression. There's never just one cause. Some of these factors are like genetics and brain chemistry.
Depression can also be a result of situations happening in a teen's life that continue to bother them and get in the way of schoolwork, keeping friendships, and getting along with parents.
A reason that a teen might get depressed is because of maybe a parent that they've lost, like a death in the family.
I think they might get depressed because, like, people might pick on them, or they might not have that many friends, or
Maybe they don't get enough attention at home.
Well, there's school, and then there's the whole puberty and the changing, and
no one's listening to what they have to say.
Probably being bullied around at school.
Something happened to them in their past that may have created them to feel depressed. Like, for example, me, my mom died when I was really young, but I've grown up with really good friends, and so it's helped me, but others may not have been so lucky.
Probably don't hang out with the right crowd sometimes.
Home problems, school issues, friends, boyfriends, things that just aren't really working out for them in their way, and they just don't feel like they have a purpose in life.
You can help your friends by making sure if they are depressed that they don't have to deal with it alone. You need to look, listen, and link.
It's important to recognize the signs of depression. Here are some examples of what you should look for.
Definitely sad and doesn't really participate in class.
Defend themselves by like lashing out at people. Or
They feel guilty about like everything that they do is their fault.
They lose like their appetite.
And they turn to alcohol and drugs to get rid of that pain.
try to be by themselves most of the time.
make a big deal about nothing and, act sad or cry.
You're always angry. You always want to pick a fight with somebody.
Worried, stressed out a lot,
Not really caring about anything.
And not really be around anybody.
Or maybe not even talk to you at all.
In addition to looking for changes in behavior, it's important to listen.
I don't care about anything anymore.
I can't do anything right.
life sucks.
What's the point?
Or maybe your friend won't tell you anything.
Depression is often misunderstood. All you gotta know is the myth from the facts.
Sometimes people think that teens who are depressed are just abnormal or crazy, and that's just not right at all.
You might think you can tell when a teen's depressed, but some hide it really well.
It's like when you listen to loud, angry music, people think you're depressed, but that's just who I am.
Some people think that it's teens' own fault that they get depressed. That's so messed up. It's not even true. That's not even how it is.
Depression affects adults, teens, and kids.
Drinking alcohol makes depression worse.
Depression runs in families.
Depression is an illness of the brain, just like asthma is an illness to the lungs.
Depression can lead to trouble in school, drug and alcohol problems, and suicide.
Depression is treatable with medication and therapy.
The most important thing a teen can do for a depressed friend is link them to a trusted adult.
The best thing a friend can do is be on the lookout for the signs of depression and listen carefully so you can link your friend to an adult that can help.
Not all teens who have depression become suicidal. The difference is, if you're a teen who is depressed and feels hopeless, like nothing will ever change, that's when you might think about suicide.
You should be prepared to have these conversations, so here are some examples of how to look, listen, and link. Your teacher will lead you through similar exercises later on.
Your friend recently got caught smoking pot at school and was suspended for several days. He is a part of a group that gets teased a lot for the clothes they wear and the music they listen to. When you saw him, you overheard him muttering to himself, "What is the point of it all anyways?"
What's the point of it all?
So, man, I heard you got suspended for smoking weed.
The popular crowd kept messing with me and my friends. I mean, what do you think? I dress fine. I listen to really good music.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I also have been hearing that you've been saying negative and depressing things.
I just feel like I can't keep up with it all.
Oh. Hey, you want to go talk to my mom about this?
No, I don't think she would understand.
Yeah, huh? Remember the last time you were depressed? She understood that. You want to go talk to her? Let's go talk to her.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Your friend has been sad and moody for a while. She hasn't been interested in hanging out with you or her other friends. Instead, she spends time alone trying to feel invisible. Now, she has just sent you a text message telling you about an upsetting argument that she has had with her mother over a failing grade and writes, "I would be better off dead."
Hey, Mr. Forney's test was killer today, huh?
I know. Hold on, I got text. Look.
Is this for real?
I don't know. I'll ask her. She said she'd rather be dead.
That doesn't sound like her at all, but
What?
she has been acting strange.
We should go find her.
Yeah, text her back. Tell her that we're gonna go meet her.
Okay.
Come on, let's go.
Hey.
We need to talk to you.
So what's going on?
It's nothing big. I mean, I just failed a test, and that's it. It's nothing to worry about.
So what happened?
I keep doing everything wrong. All I do is wrong.
That's not
wrong.
true.
It's not your fault. Maybe we should go talk to Miss B.
I think we need to talk to Miss B.
It's not that big of a deal. It's fine. I'll be fine.
I really think we should go talk to her.
Come on.
But how will she help me? But it's not that big of a deal. It's just a thought.
No, thoughts may come true, so come on.
We can't be afraid to talk about depression or suicide. It's more important to, link your friends to an adult they can trust if they're thinking about it, so it's easier for them.
I'd first go to my mom, because I can trust her with just about anything.
The counselor, she can keep a secret.
Probably my principal or some of my teachers.
Or probably like my uncle, because he's a policeman.
My mom, my stepdad.
The principal, the assistant principal.
My uncle or my auntie, because they are pastors at a church.
Coaches, because I know they would always support you, even if you're going through a really hard time.
I'll definitely talk to people that understand me and communicate well with me.
You can get help by calling a crisis line like 1-800-273-TALK. Linking your friend to an adult that can help is the best thing you can do for them.
So your friend doesn't have to go through depression alone. Don't forget to look, listen, and link.
It'd be important to help a friend because when they're depressed, they think about being suicidal. And, well, helping that person not be suicidal could be saving someone's life, so it's really important.
Because they trust us, because we're their friends, and if they had a problem, they could talk to us about it.
You want to help them to be able to get better.
So that they won't be doing anything stupid. So that they won't feel like they're the only people.
What would life be like without you? And trying to make her feel better, making her feel like, yes, you are important to us, you're important to a lot of people, so yeah.
Before I thought it would be really, hard to go to a counselor because they're somewhat of a stranger. But once you actually see a counselor, it's actually more comfortable and easy to open up.
Say if my friend had committed suicide, I wouldn't want that, in my heart. Thinking about that instead of saying that I could have helped them and they could still be alive today.
Okay. So, after viewing those videos, I would have the students, I don't have 8th grade students right now, so, but I would have the students write down on note cards 2 or 3 people that they could go to if they are having those feelings, and I would tell them that my office is an open door policy if they are having those serious suicidal thoughts and feelings to come talk to me as soon as they could. Because the importance on this issue is very high. And even if they know their friends are having this issue, then to have them go talk to somebody that will help them so they don't follow through. Okay, some more facts. Teen suicide is preventable. When a person is depressed, they are not thinking, feeling, or acting the way they normally do. We must get them help. To get them back on track, we must learn what the warning signs are and who is at a higher risk. Among young people from 15 to 24, suicide is the third leading cause of death, behind accidents and homicide. This number has tripled in recent years. Every day, 14 young people between 15 and 24 die at their own hands. That's one suicide every hour and 40 minutes. Some myths about suicide. Teenagers who talk about attempting suicide are doing it for attention. True, and they need the attention. There is something going on that is causing them to feel this way. They need people to listen, and professionals need to help them. So if you hear a friend talk about this, don't just kind of brush it off to think that they're asking for attention. Get the help that they need, because we would rather be safe than sorry in this type of situation. All teenagers who are suicidal are depressed. This statement is true, but the reverse is not true. Most people will experience times in their lives when they are depressed but have no suicidal ideation. Suicidal people really want to die. There's no way to stop them. False. They are depressed and they need help. With help, they can feel better and find other solutions. Talking about suicide can cause a student to attempt suicide. This is also false. It's just the opposite. Not talking about it could escalate the problem. Even thinking about it makes the suicidal person feel worse. Talking with help will bring understanding. Talking about it can relieve suicidal students and get them to the help that they need. And also discussing to the student about the subject of suicide shows that we are caring and taking time for them in our lives. A few more myths. If a person really wants to kill themselves, no one has the right to stop them. False. We would help a person who was physically sick or injured, so we need to help a person who is mentally ill as well. Once a person is suicidal, they are suicidal forever. This is also false. Teens who are suicidal can go on to lead useful lives. Once they get the help, usually suicidal feelings are for a limited period of time. I think it would be really awesome to find maybe somebody who is an adult and when they were a teenager maybe had pretty serious or maybe even attempted suicide, and to have this person come speak at a middle school to show the students how successful you can be after depression and suicidal thoughts. Improvement following a suicidal crisis means that the suicide risk is over. This is false. Most suicides occur within 3 months following the beginning of improvement, when the teen has the energy to put their thoughts and feelings into effect. Relatives and physicians should be very quick to respond during this time. Students who are a higher risk, students with low self-esteem, students who are in trouble with the law, students who are suffering from depression, students who have been abused, molested, or neglected, students who abuse drugs or alcohol, students who are perfectionists, students who are struggling with sexual orientation, students who live in dysfunctional families such as divorced, separated, or parents in jail or prison, students who fail in school and potentially dropping out of school. Some warning signs of suicide, and this is important to notice among your friends in class or at sports. If you notice some of these signs, then you need to talk to that friend just to show that you care, and if that student is feeling suicidal, then you need to get the help that they need. A recent suicide in the family. Teens are especially vulnerable when a close family friend or member commits suicide. The grieving process of depression can interrupt normal thought processes. Trouble coping with recent losses, death, divorce, moving, and breakups. Experience with a traumatic event. Sometimes a significant traumatic event can create feelings of hopelessness and despair. Making final arrangements such as writing or a will, taking care of the details, closing a bank account, etc. Gathering of lethal weapons, such as pills, guns, or any other items. Giving away prized possessions such as favorite clothing, important CDs, sports equipment, expensive or treasured jewelry. A preoccupation with death or dark themes in their writing and their music, and just kind of their personalities are just moving more dark. Sudden changes in personality or attitude, appearance, chemical use, or school behavior. Verbal signs. If you hear a friend say some of these things, then you definitely need to talk to them or go tell an adult to help them. I can't go on anymore. I wish I was never born. I wish I were dead. I won't need this anymore. My parents won't have to worry about me anymore. Everyone would be better off if I were dead. Life sucks. Nobody cares if I live or die. Okay. So now I would have my students split into 4 groups. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go back. PowerPoint. Okay. So after the verbal signs, I would have the students take their note cards and write down of different ways that they could help their friends who are feeling depressed or suicidal. And I would have them talk amongst each other and have them come up with steps to take if that friend is seriously considering the suicide and plan. And then we would discuss it and maybe make sure that each point is covered. And what would you do first? I would have them write all those down on the note cards and share them with each other, and we would discuss it as a large group. And then I would have the students split into 4 groups, and I would give each of them a scenario, kind of like in that last video that we watched. They showed 2 different scenarios of 2 different students in each situation, and I would tell them to pretend like they were that person's friend. and have them develop a plan, how you would approach that suicidal person. And then if that person is not willing to talk to you, then maybe you go to an adult or that student's parents or counselor. And then they would all write those down on big pieces of construction paper. And I would allow about 10 minutes for this. And then after each group was done discussing it, then we would go back and talk about each different scenario in each of the 4 groups, and people, the students could share different thoughts or different ways that they could help these students that were struggling with suicidal thoughts. And then at the very end, I would have them all write down on note cards a suicidal hotline phone number for emergencies, and then also explain to them that 911 is also always an option. And some important final points are: always listen to your friend's feelings. Don't just brush it off, just feeling like your friend is just wanting that attention. And be direct about the situation. Ask them if they have a plan. And if they do, then ask them if they'll talk to somebody that can help. Because the plan is very important. If the student does have a plan set in place about suicide, then those suicidal thoughts are very real and suicide could potentially happen. Get help from the local hospital or family of the student or any adult that's in the person's life. You may feel like you're breaking your friend's trust sometimes, but overall their safety would be more important than your friendship at that time. And also call 911 if you are immediately concerned for your friend's safety. And then at this point, I would ask the students if they had any final questions that they would like to ask, or if they did have any personal questions, they could always come into my office, set up a time